welcome to the Edinburgh Award for Flash Fiction. We are about to find out from our judges, Zoe Strachan and Louise Welsh, who has won the prizes in the 2023 competition. Zoe and Louise, thank you so much and welcome. So could you tell us what were your overall impressions of the entries this year?
A really great quality, incredibly good quality, and people that are able to make a world and characters that come alive and that we inhabit in such a small word count. It's like suddenly we're in the middle of a new place and a new dilemma, a new story. It's really impressive, really impressive.
We've had the pleasure of doing this for a couple of years now, so we've got to see the competition grow over the years, and I have to say this year was definitely the strongest yet. We had more stories to read of a higher quality, and it was a really difficult decision. I know we said that last year, but this year actually I felt that every story we were sent was a winner.
What is it that you actually look for in the stories?
I think the best short stories have the depth and quality of a novel, and that's really what we're looking for something that we step in and we're part of this world. And that relies on so much. It relies not only on the plot, on what happens, but it relies on that world building, which the writers in this competition don't have space to build it up. They make us feel that we're there immediately, and they give us a depth of character and character motivation that holds you for that moment that you're in it. It's like a flash from a window of a train. You suddenly see this depth of a world and depth of character.
Definitely. And I mean, there's really nowhere to hide in a flash fiction. You have to hit the ground running and establish all that incredibly quickly and confidently. So really, when I'm reading the stories, I think I agree with Louise. I want to be transported. I want to inhabit somebody else's life for a page, and that really happened. And I think we look for other things too. It was an incredible range of stories this year, so some of them are very funny. It's really nice to have a laugh. Some of them really moving, really quite a few of extremely moving stories, some of them very topical. Lots of different things come into the mix.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is these writers make us feel that they just sat down and they, the first words, that everything just flowed immediately. But as writers ourselves, we know that they will have toiled long and hard and thought about these stories and edited them. But actually the impression that we get when we sit down is that it just came like that. But actually, we appreciate that every writer, whether they're on the shortlist or not, really put a lot of work into this, and we've benefited by being able to inhabit all of these different situations and places.
Let's get to the prizes, shall we? We're going to begin with the Golden Hare Award. Now, the Golden Hare Award goes to the top story entered in the competition by a writer living in Scotland. As you know, the whole competition is open to writers worldwide, but this is a special prize that is donated by Golden Hare Books and by Sir Mark Jones in order to encourage flash fiction writing in Scotland. And the first prize for this is £500. So who has won the Golden Hare Award for 2023?
Well, this is a very special award, an award given by an independent bookshop. An independent bookshop support authors in so many ways, but this is really a special one. We're grateful to Golden Hare. So the Golden Hare Award for Scottish flash fiction has been won by The Solar System.
The Solar System was written by Drew Taylor, who lives right here in Edinburgh. What was it that made The Solar System grab your attention?
I think for me, it's atmosphere. It's something that should be every day. It is every day. And yet there's something, not quite off kilter. There's just a child who's such an acute observer of the world that I found really intriguing. It felt like the beginning of a story. I felt this child could grow up to be anyone at all. They could be I don't know, they could be the Prime Minister, they could be a serial killer, they could be the first person on Mars. It was just a wonderful opening up of possibility, and the title reflects that really well too.
Yeah, and I think often within really good fiction, within really good stories, there's an element of contradiction and tension as well. And I think this is a story about something so far, named after something so far away, and yet it has an intimacy as well that I think the flash fiction form can encourage.
Got that clever ending to that last line, my specialism is keeping them in the dark. That's the one that is just such a clever last line, because it brings in ambiguity when it could be the lovely story about a child who's the center of the universe, which we want children to be. But that it's such a clever line that's not as obvious as a twist, but just opens up all the possibilities again.
Reminds us that we fear cleverness, sometimes for good reasons, but often for bad reasons. I wonder if Drew will work with this character again, if we'll meet them again and get to learn a little bit more about them.
Now, of course, in addition to his £500 prize, Drew is going to receive 1 year free membership of the Scottish Arts Club. The club is located in Rutland Square. It's celebrating its 150-year anniversary this year. Fantastic. And it offers a huge range of talks, of exhibitions, recital art classes and more. And we're really grateful to the support of the Scottish Arts Club. So let's move on to the prizes that were open to writers worldwide. Last year, you told us that the standard of entries was so high that you demanded commendations. So we kept the commendations.
Thank goodness.
We could celebrate more of the stories by more of the writers. So could you tell us about the stories that have been awarded with commendations?
Yeah, absolutely. So one that stuck out for both of us was to the new neighbour 3 doors down who steals my strawberries.
Well, this is a story by Mary Gethins, who currently lives in Cork in the Republic of Ireland.
This is one of the pieces that I thought was topical, but at the same time quite a timeless theme about care, really. I just thought the writing's great. There's a bit, when I started reading the story, I thought, I wonder, is the neighbour, is it a bird, is it an animal, who is the neighbour? And then we find out at the end of the story, and I thought the message of this was just beautifully handled, not too overdone, but just a really salutary reminder that, to be grateful for what we have, and sometimes to share that with others and try and be a good person. So it's a tiny story that really did a lot for me.
Yeah, it was also a very beautifully structured story. It's a story that gives us atmosphere and place, but the way in which the revelations are paced, I thought this was very, very, very nicely structured and held us. We want to know what's going on. A beautiful voice as well.
Let's go on to the second commendation.
We've chosen the story Partners.
Partners is written by Penny Ann Baudouin, who lives in Amherstburg in Ontario, Canada.
Something about the flash fiction form demands that writers give us the place very, very economically. And this has another benefit in a way, because it means that we as readers construct part of the world for ourselves. And I'm sure that I saw a completely different dance hall from the one that the author saw in her head. But I felt that I was there, that I was in a place that I recognized, a place of childhood, a place of longing. And I thought it was like a little symphony. It was, the music of the dance was in there as well. And again, a beautifully timed revelation at the end.
Really strong voice as well. And the revelation I thought worked brilliantly. Just in terms of the idea that people can be unpredictable, or you think you know someone very well, but they may still have surprises for you. And maybe you deserve them. I rather like the way that played out in this story. The third commendation was for #the morning after.
So #the morning after is by Melanie Henderson, who also lives here in Edinburgh.
Obviously, this is one of the topical ones, and I think it's a really confident story because it's got a really clear central premise, and the author sticks to it, and yet there is movement through the story. It's about something else, and I think it's about something that's probably quite recognizable for a lot of people, and that plays out in other ways, not just in social media. We all think of what the perfect life looks like, and we all find our own lives sometimes coming up short.
Yeah, it's a really contemporary story, as Zoe says. It shows that the world isn't as straightforward as we think. What we see is not necessarily what's there. And I like what you say about that sense of propulsion. It appears simple, but I think there's a deceptive complexity to this structure that keeps us reading on. I really liked it, and I thought that people would give a wry smile as they get towards the end of this story. And there's something also, I think, reassuring to us, because all of us would like things to be perhaps a little bit shinier, and we'd like to be a little bit more accomplished than we are. And this is a story that reminds us probably everybody feels that way at some point. So it was nice. It's got an edge. It's got an edge to it, but actually it's also got that affection, I think.
Yeah, quite a poignant one.
Yeah. What other stories have been commended?
So the next story that we would like to commend is, again, a really, really, really nice title and a scenario that we can all recognize. It's called Alice Under the Table.
Alice Under the Table is by Jane Broughton, who's from Manchester.
This was one of your favourites, I think.
I really liked this, and I think there's that flash of recognition, simplicity of it, level of emotional investment. I could see this. I could actually visualize the action very clearly, and it made me think back to when I sometimes hid under the table.
The writing's very good in this one too. I think, as Louise said earlier, you need that sort of economy of description, but it has to be really precise in a flash fiction. You don't really have space for lots of cliche. Again, just great lines like Alice looking at her toys and debating whether a rabbit or a squirrel would win in a fight to the death. There's that child viewpoint, again, I thought was so well done. And again, it has a twist, but not a really obvious twist in the tale, rather a pleasing twist.
Yeah, it's smart and it's sweet, but it's not too sweet.
Another one with an edge. We like an edge, I think.
So we're going to come to the final commendation now.
So our fifth commendation, again, a brilliant title, an active title, Keep Your Filthy Damn Hands.
Keep Your Filthy Damn Hands was written by Amy Edmonds from London. What were your thoughts about this powerful story?
It was powerful. It is powerful. It's a story that stayed with me. It's topical, but it's perennial. And this is this story, this setting, I would think that every woman, unfortunately, probably from a young teenager to an elderly lady in the care home, we will all recognize this story, and often we'll recognize that, I wish I'd taken a different action. And I thought it was very smart. It was very powerful, and it plays with time a little bit as well, and it asks something from the reader. And I very much liked that. I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, and again, a really affecting one. It shows you this scene, but then at the end we reappraise the scene, and that's where it's got the real punch, I think, that I think a lot of people would find very recognizable and horribly recognizable. So really, just a really effective story.
I think it's also a story that we get it the first time you read it, but I found myself going back to read it again, because there's depth there in this very, very, very short story. And clever without being tricksy, thoughtful.
Yeah, and we all feel that, yes, again, really good lines, that she is a master of post-production, just the moment when it just twists round and you think, yes.
Now we come to the international awards that carry cash prizes and also 1 year free membership of the Scottish Arts Club. And even if this prize is written by writers who live in other countries, the club has reciprocal memberships with many other cities, with clubs in many other cities around the world. So We begin with the third prize of £250. Zoe and Louise, who has won the third prize?
Well, we don't know their name yet, but we know that their story is called Join Hands.
Join Hands is by Sean Gill, who lives in Brooklyn in New York. Zoe and Louise, can you tell us how you felt about Join Hands?
Oh, it made me cry.
Yeah.
It made me cry. It's an amazing short story. And I didn't feel manipulated. I just felt that, oh, goodness. This is a really terrific piece of work. It's got a filmic quality. It's got a depth to it. It's got a truth to it. And it's about love, endurance, and much more bravery.
It's such a good reminder. I think we think of flash fiction, we think of, a slice of life, a resonant moment, something like that, and Join Hands has that, particularly in the ending, which is so devastating. But it's also such a good reminder that in that tiny word count, you can create such an amount of drama. You can have history, you can have setting, you can have real world forces at play, and then take it to the individual level. Just so well handled, so effective. And yes, this was one of the ones that gave me a tear in my eye too.
And unfortunately, in this case, this is a story that has contemporary resonance.
And just very clear writing too, because it would have been easy to tip into melodrama. Because it is heightened, it's really about heightened emotion, and I think there's a lot of restraint in the way that it's written, the way the scenes are painted, and the delicacy of the ending.
Now we're going to move on to the second prize. Second prize comes with a prize of £500 and 1 year membership of the Scottish Arts Club. So which story has won second prize?
So the second prize has been won by a story called Life Goes On.
And Life Goes On is written by Jonathan Sellers, who comes from London. So congratulations to Jonathan.
Oh, this is a perfectly titled. Life Goes On is actually perfect title for this life-affirming story.
Yeah, this one just tickled me pink. It's just such a fantastic conceit. Actually, yes, it is. It's great to read something about death that makes you laugh. And oh yeah, just a lovely flight of fantasy.
Yeah, and again, deceptive simplicity, but actually a lot of complexity there. And I loved the voice.
Yeah,
I really loved the voice of this. And this is the kind of thing you switch on the radio, you're driving the car, you get to your destination, and you have to stay in the car until the end, even though you've arrived. I thought it was just perfect. It was great. I so enjoyed it.
Yeah, the voice has got just that wryness of tone. It fits with the subject so well. It's really accomplished. Really.
And an irreverence. There's a delightful irreverence to this.
Yeah.
Well, next year we will have the Right Mango Award. We've introduced a new award called the Right Mango Award, which is actually to encourage writers to submit stories that are fun, amusing, bizarre, and as delicious as a mango.
Oh, how nice.
I think
yes, this would have been a contender.
We are now going to move on to the winner of the 2023 Edinburgh Award for Flash Fiction. Can you tell us who has won the big prize of £2,000?
Oh, and it is a big prize, isn't it? It was, yes, I think this was unanimous, wasn't it?
It completely was. And this was a very, as you say, this was a very difficult list in a way, because the quality was so high. And yet, and Zoe and I looked at things separately. We were very strict. And then we were unanimous about this story, which is really pleasing. We didn't have to do any arm wrestling or anything like that.
So the winner of the 2023 Edinburgh Award for Flash Fiction is The All of It, It Misses You, Come Home.
The All of It, It Misses You, Come Home was written by Sheena Cook Copman, who lives partly in Baltimore and partly in Edinburgh.
This is a really talented writer, clearly. She is a really talented writer. This is a very originally crafted piece.
Yeah, it's like a prose poem in the way. The form of it is so well handled. This is a hard thing to do. I imagine it, if she reads it or performs it, it will flow beautifully because she's handled the form so precisely and managed to bring in so much telling detail, not extraneous detail, but actual resonant telling detail that does that thing that we talked about at the beginning. It lets a very small story open up a whole world.
It's a lovely texture to this, and a sense of breathing, a sense of breath. And I would really like to hear Sheena perform it, because I think you get this sense of something out and then coming back and going out and coming back, and this sense of loss, but again, the place remaining and the place enduring.
A very affecting story. It makes you think, what is home? Is it, do you carry it inside you? Is it the place? Is it the people who've gone? It's a really touching story.
I think there's also it feels like a story for our time, but actually this is also a timeless story. I could imagine somebody reading this 100 years ago and feeling moved and finding the relevance in it. I certainly felt it now, and I think future readers will find it too. I thought there was something very resonant about this.
Almost every line, there's just a beautiful little image that just sings to you. It's a lovely piece of work.
We'll be looking out for Sheena because I don't think she's stopping here.
The all of it misses you. Come home. The farm misses you. The wind in the barley misses you. The combine rolling home with your dad inside it. The burn water you paddled in with your brother. The grass under the crabapple tree where you made daisy chains and played croquet. The gooseberry bushes your grandfather planted. The view from your bedroom over the lambs across the field to the top road where the school bus goes. The secret room off your bedroom where your grandmother hid her letters. The grandmother clock at the top of the back stairs. The piano with the music open where you left it. The box of wine on the fridge so your dad could pour a glass without getting up. The round kitchen table with your brother's spelling pressed into it. The blue milk jug with its beaded cover. The ginger cat asleep by the Rayburn. The potatoes in the red basin. The needles in the tomato pincushion on the windowsill for splinters in your hand. The gooseberry jam on the larder shelf. Your mother's handwriting on the label. Your dad's Wellingtons and heartbreaking socks and growing collection of walking sticks. The stone water trough you sat on with your brother when you brought him his tea and warm roly-poly. Your grandmother's faded pink roses around the kitchen window, heads heavy with raindrops. The stroll around the farm you never got to take with her. The all of it misses you. Come home. We'll bring you over the water. Come home.
Congratulations to all our finalists, commended writers and prize winners in the 2023 Edinburgh Award for Flash Fiction. So thank you so much, Zoe and Louise. And that's a wrap for another year. The 2024 Edinburgh Award for Flash Fiction opens for entries on the 1st of June. That's this year. So 1st of June, 2023 for the 2024 competition. And the first prize again will be £2,000. I want to thank our amazing judges, Zoe Strachan and Louise Welsh. Thank you so much for being so generous with your time, your energy, and for taking part in our wee film here. And big thank you to all our readers and to everyone who entered the competition this year. And please keep writing because we love reading them. Thanks. Bye-bye.